All in Sports Network. We love sports.
It is Tuesday, November 25th, right here on your daily fix for all things Texas Longhorns. I'm Tanner Carlson. That is Jake Jimerson. And it is Thanksgiving week, holiday week. So a lot of travels, a lot of family coming in. And I just had about a 20-minute long conversation with my mom about she's going to go pick up my grandma in Louisiana. They're driving back this week. And then what we're going to bring for Thanksgiving, what we're making, and all that types of planning. So with all that being said, Jake and I have elected to we're going to do a little bit shorter episodes this week. We're going to do Tuesday, Wednesday, skip Thursday, enjoy the holiday, enjoy the family. And then Friday we'll have the immediate reaction following the Texas A&M game. So we'll have kind of clear-headed thoughts on Arkansas for this episode. Tomorrow's episode is going to be more so primarily focused on Texas A&M. Obviously, everybody knows this is a must-win game just to keep what little sliver of a hope for playoff hopes that the Texas Longhorns do have. But yeah, so again, it'll be a little bit shorter episodes, but it's also for the holidays, so you're not spending your entire time with us and you're spending more time with your family. So, all right, Jake, let's dive into it. Clear-headed thoughts on the Arkansas game. Not that I don't think we had clouded judgment in that game of, oh, this is a turning point in the season. We're playoff bound now. I don't think that was really ever a thought in our head, but just, final thoughts. Yeah, we've had a night or two to kind of mull it over. And yeah, the Arkansas game was what it was.
Yeah. I kind of I didn't get a full rewatch in, but I kind of, watched bigger drives in the first half and the second half, skipping through the other evening. And the defense did play a lot better in the second half. I think I was so frustrated from the first half, I didn't appreciate their play in the second half against a very good offense. Now, Green did go out. That does affect it. But honestly, the backup for Arkansas was pretty impressive. I mean,
Yeah.
After he got over the jitters, he had some jitters to start when he came
Well,
in.
those first couple of throws were horrendous. But yeah, like you said, he kind of got over that.
Yeah, he settled in, and he looked like a solid option for Arkansas at quarterback in the future. But the defense made plays in the second half, and that allowed them they played some really good complementary football in the third quarter that I don't feel like I fully appreciated because I was just very frustrated with that first half because it was like the first few games of the season, everyone's talking about how elite the defense was. And then how bad the offense was. And now it's like, man, the defense sucks and the offense is better. Now the offense didn't play great against Georgia. Or it didn't score against Georgia. I felt like they moved the ball effectively in that game. They just couldn't score. But and now you go into the A&M game and it's like, I don't trust either side of the ball completely. And the Arkansas game didn't necessarily change that. I think the offense could do okay, but I worry about the defense against that passing attack. And that's kind of my biggest thing is I don't understand how the secondary is as bad as it's been this year because it's been bad. They're a lowly ranked pass defense outside of the only good thing is the pass rush. The actual secondary outside of Manny Muhammad has been bad. Michael Taft has not been good in several weeks.
He made the one good play kind of crashing down on the underneath drag route. I think it was on third down. Kind of broke that pass up with a big hit. But to your point, I think that also has something to do with the linebacker play as well in coverage. I think the linebacking coverage has been really bad. The guys that are the most open is 10 to 12 yards down the field. That kind of intermediate passing zone where you do have linebackers dropping back in coverage right there. The safeties are a little bit more deep, I would say. And then your underneath coverage, I think, has been really susceptible. I actually think around the line of scrimmage, Texas's pass defense hasn't been all that bad. Now, tackling is a bit of an issue. I think Texas could tackle a little bit better, but it's that intermediate being able to get 10, 15 yards a play, a chunk play on a single drive where it seems like Arkansas's taken, or whoever, Georgia, whatever, taking 5 plays to get 50 yards down the field. It's just unacceptable.
If not one.
Yeah.
And just, I mean, guys running wide open because of coverage busts. And the secondary, the actual secondaries had plenty of busts too.
Right.
Taft busted multiple times against Georgia. McDonald busted multiple times against Georgia.
Pause. Phrasing.
Right. I wasn't even thinking about it. Mine was actually in full football mode
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
once.
It's all
But
good. It's all good.
you
What
know,
I'm here
really
for.
outside Manny Muhammad, the secondary play has just been bad to average at times, average at best. Though I will say, going back to the Arkansas game, I said it after the show, and I think you did too. But I feel even more strongly about it after watching Cade Phillips is cornerback too. He should not leave the field. He's a better option than Kobe Black right now. I don't know what's going on with Kobe Black. I saw a post from an insider that basically said, if he transfers, look for Baylor. And it was like, if you're saying that, I feel like he's probably transferring. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not reporting that as
I
news.
wonder if that's a home thing, if it's just he's not fitting in the Austin area and it's more so the home life of him wanting to be closer
I don't
to
think he's probably played as much this year as he's wanted to, but he hasn't
earned the play time.
the second cornerback spot's just been a rotating door.
Yeah.
They tried to mix Littleton in there, but Littleton kind of needs to play star most of the time because the star position, he's just the best option there. And then, I think Cade Phillips looked like the best second corner on this team. I thought he didn't look like a freshman out there, and you can tell he's really come along in his progression and
he's
his
come a long
development.
way since those earlier games where, even
The Florida game.
Florida game was atrocious. It was really bad. And I was like, man, but you kind of have to take a zoomed out approach to kind of evaluating some of these younger guys. They were in high school last year. They were playing against kids that were failing algebra, so you kind of have to take that zoomed out approach a little bit and say, maybe it's the first time they're playing against caliber of players like a Dallas Wilson or, whoever, which feels like Texas was the only game he played in this year. But, it's when you're able to do that and you're saying, well, these guys are consistently developing as the season is going on. They're kind of starting to settle in a little bit and kind of figure out how this game is played at this level. That's where you start seeing their prospect ranking, whether they're 5-star, 4-star, their highly ranked recruiting status. That's when it kind of starts to show a little bit, is once they get their feet wet and they were able to kind of get those reps in.
Yeah. A lot of people just expect, just because they have a high rating, to just come out and be a star game.
Not everybody's Devontae Smith. Not everybody is, a Ryan Williams or a.
And even Ryan Williams has had his struggles since bursting out in the scene. And he's gotten really, but he went through a pretty big, just kind of where he was living off those first couple games where he caught the spotlight. So
right,
it just takes a little time sometimes. And in Cade Phillips' case, it really hasn't taken that much time. If we're being all that honest, it's still his true freshman season. But yeah, to me, one of the big takeaways from that game was the youth injection in the second half with the secondary led to better play, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. But I think maybe they just weren't overthinking it, or I don't know exactly what it was. I don't have the coach's film, so it's hard to just, have a zoomed out view of the secondary. There's only so much you can see from the TV broadcast.
Yeah.
But a lot of the young players on this team have me very excited, not only for, closing out this season, but, going into next season. In my opinion, Cade Phillips cannot leave the field hardly ever in the A&M game unless he's going to get water.
And I thought Littleton had a pretty good game too.
Littleton's Littleton and Phillips at this point have me feeling really good about the secondary next year. You add in a Jonah Williams, you add in Xavier Filsaime, you add in hopefully Wardell Mack keeps coming along, and you got some dudes out there, and then you probably need to bring in a guy or two out of the portal in the secondary, a couple veteran guys to help lead the group that have experience and are more guaranteed thing. And you could end up having a little bit of a revamped secondary next year, especially if you can get a Jelani McDonald to return.
Yeah.
So I still have a lot of hope for this defense come next year. But all that to say, there probably needs to be a shakeup in the secondary coaching room. It just sticks out like a sore thumb. Dwayne Aquina comes in, and the way
all
the
of a sudden.
secondary is, the play calling has changed. Because I know PK has a lot of the secondary calls handed off to someone else. He's done that his whole time here. And then the level of communication, understanding, and coverage bust have all just dropped significantly compared to previous years.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a look at our underdog week in college football, and then we'll be right back to it. They don't have all the entries left or available to us right now, but I'm sure they'll start popping up sooner as we get approaching the shortened week that is college football and Thanksgiving week. But we'll be right back. Football is back, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Get your picks right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as $1. Download the app today and sign up with promo code HORNS to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code HORNS. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog, make picks. Win money. Must be 18 and up. 19 and up in Alabama, Nebraska, 19 and up, and in Colorado for some games. 21 and up in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia. And must be present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. All right, Jake. I didn't place a whole lot over this last weekend, but I did go 2-0. I took the higher on the Texas-Arkansas game, and then I took the lower on the Florida-Tennessee game, and those were the two games that I placed entries on over the week. So I did perfectly fine. Went 100% on the two picks that I did make, except for the all-in horns. I made one pick for college football, which was John Mateer to score at least a rushing or receiving touchdown, something that Arch Manning did twice in this game, by the way. He had a receiving and a rushing touchdown. But yeah, I can do very well on my own entries, and then whenever it comes to the all-in horns entries, if it's not Jake, it's me. Except 1 week, I think we just skunked it.
There was 1 week, I think both of us missed all of them.
Yeah, I don't think we hit a single one. So we're trying. We're approaching the end of the season, but we're trying, people. We're really trying to get one in for you guys.
Yeah, it feels like we keep coming close. I never ever put an OU offensive player in an entry again. I think is the lesson from
I'm
this.
done with it. Yep, that was the lesson.
I mean, Arch nearly scored as many. Arch scored almost as many touchdowns yesterday as Mateer's had all season. So let's.
I mean, that's actually a factual statement. To be made. So
yes.
But yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't know really how I feel going in. I'll have to look at the numbers once they're released and available to the public from Underdog in terms of the Texas A&M game. I typically stay away from Texas games in general. Arkansas was just too savory to stay away from. Had to jump on the Arkansas train because I knew the over was going to hit in that one, just the way Texas's defense has been playing and stuff. So, all right, Jake, let's go ahead, wrap up the show here shortly. Going from the Arkansas game to the A&M game, and I know we're going to touch on it a little bit more. Also, Texas basketball, Maui Invitational, started Monday night. So they will continue to be playing in that throughout the week as well as Thanksgiving week continues on. But college basketball ramping up. Texas only suffering the one loss, the season opener to Duke. And you've got teams like Kentucky, who has 2 losses in the SEC, undefeated teams in the SEC like Georgia and Missouri. So it's like, A&M is horrible in basketball right now. So, yeah, it's just it's a filling out process. But this Maui Invitational will be a good kind of litmus test, I guess, to kind of see where Texas is in terms of some of these bigger programs not named Kansas City, Ryder, Fairdick, and things like that.
Yeah, this is a chance for Texas to get in the rankings if they can do well at this. There's no reason Texas can't win this Maui Invitational. I think they very easily should be competing to win this thing. I think on paper they're the best team there, so I'm excited to see how they do. You had the Duke game. You were more competitive than the scoreboard showed. The final scoreboard showed in that game, and now.
And basketball can do that with intentionally fouling and things like that. Basketball can have that
or just
effect.
one run at the end of the game, and then it's a 15-point game, but it was a less than a 10-point game the entire way through.
Right,
Texas leading for stretches of that game.
And at halftime, they were up by 1.
Yeah, and I mean Duke is also really good.
Yeah,
they handled Kansas in a similar fashion to how they handled Texas. And we'll see how they do in some upcoming games against like Arkansas and Florida. That'll be kind of fun to see. But for Texas, I'm excited for this Maui because it's a chance for them to beat some solid teams and teams that I think they probably should beat. But it's not. They're not going to get a chance to take down like a Duke or some top 10 team. And so to me, it's the goal. I expect them not to drop many games in this thing, and I expect them to look impressive in it. This is kind of their chance to start to put themselves on the map a little bit. Just because you win the Maui, it gets talked about, even when the team fields haven't been as strong as they used to be. It's still an opportunity to go out, win a pre-conference tournament. And start to put Texas's name on the map this year as a basketball team, especially if they can win some of these games in dominant fashion.
and getting ranked going into conference play would it would kind of set a tone as to what your expectations and some of the teams within your conference who haven't necessarily started off nearly as hot as they were last year, and so getting a chance to kind of make your mark in the SEC play for the first time would be nice. It would be nice to see going into conference play kind of on a hot streak. So, all right, Jake, that's going to do it for today's episode. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. Tomorrow's episode, we are going to primarily be talking Texas A&M, and going into that Friday night game. So, for Jake Jimerson, I'm Tanner Carlson. As always, ladies and gentlemen, hook 'em.
All in Sports Network. We love sports.